Hello YouTubers, Tross here, playing some more Minecraft. It's been a bit of a while. I had a little Christmas break and was playing Kerbal Space Program and trying to finish that up after the I was trying to finish it up before the update, but that happened sooner than I expected. But here I am back on the server I normally play on. Get rid of that zombie. And this is the ice machine I've built. Got a few people building mob farms and different stuff like that and needed some ice. So I built this ice machine. We got a little exposed water here. You can see ice blocks form, and underneath these blocks are water source blocks that don't freeze because they're covered. And we actually have two sides here, and there's a little timer that every 30 seconds or so fires the one side and then fires the other side. Basically, the ice is forming on pistons, sticky pistons that pull the ice down, and then there's pistons from the side that push the pistons or push the ice towards the center. Let's see if I can get a not really a better view, but see there's sticky pistons there facing up, and there's normal pistons inside. And basically the ice gets pushed to the center here, and you can see there's pistons here that push it down. And yeah, basically once one side fires, it fires the center, and then we got a delay, and then this fires the other side, and then also then triggers the center, and the signal comes over here and kind of down this little spiral path. We're on the side of a mountain here. Alright, come on. Oh, that hit you, creeper. What is with... There we go. Didn't want to burn. So we're on the side of a mountain here. This was kind of natural. Just to get it down far enough, I step out one and basically just slightly dug into the hill here. It's not well lit because I don't want to melt the ice or anything. Let's quickly collect some of these arrows. Ooh, leave him alone. But then there's basically a whole wall of pistons here, and it pushes the ice into a big cube. Now the ice doesn't freeze evenly, but you can see we're almost totally filled here, and we actually got some extra overflow at the top. Here, just because the pistons that push down can't push down anymore because those areas are full. But you come in here with your Silk Touch pickaxe and get all the ice you need. There we go. But this is not the only project I've been working on. I should show you. Besides this big ice machine, we have a small little snow machine here. Just a snow golem, kind of trapped, but you can get all the snowballs you need just by digging out the plate here. Snow cover, snow plate. So the other thing I've been doing is working on a rail system. So we do have a nice paths in the nether, but I always like a nice minecart ride to get places. So let me head back to spawn. It's just over here. Probably see some of the tracks already. And so I kind of built a nice station up here with some little help on the architecture design. But I did all the wiring, and we have various people putting in some lines. I put in 3, but the rest other people have been putting in. But basically, you got this nice selector here. Select whatever path you want. And basically, on the back here, we're not that wide here. It's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks wide. We got all these torches here that the dispenser here will dispense a minecart. You can press this button here to set the cart going after you get in, obviously. And you get boosted around here, and then these various turns here that are powered by these torches will send you down your correct path. Right now, there's one path which doesn't have a torch. That's the last one, obviously. If you've missed all the others, you're good on the last one. Let me choose one that's not the last one. That's this nice orange path here. And you can see, now this torch is on. So you'll come this way, get turned, you'll skip over here, but then this torch is on, so you go down the orange path. And, yeah, I'll actually show you how this works in my creative world in a minute or two. How did you get here? But basically, there's a series of dispensers here, and these are facing down, and right below them are other dispensers facing up. And there's one item that gets shifted between the dispensers, the bottom or top. If they're in the top, that's the selected button. And you can see we have a comparator here that powers this block, which powers the redstone lamp. You can, if you want, you can actually, I don't have it, let me make one real quick. You can take output up here, actually. And the redstone torch that is off, if you put them all on here, is the selected one. I needed the outputs in the back, so you can basically just do another row of comparators in the back. And I used that and some funky wiring there's 12 buttons here. You can do a little longer. You can do up to 15 without much trouble. Longer than that, you probably need a brake and some repeaters. But basically, with some funky wiring, we get out the outputs to all the individual torches back here. Obviously, the way the tracks work, we need every other one, but this has every one, so we need able to, in only 3 or 4 block space, wire everyone up. Basically, let's see if I can. There we go. Don't need the egg. So, for example, here, this comparator powers this torch, which then shifts over to 1 and powers that torch, where this comparator powers that block. Oh, there's Ozzy Bob. And that directly then powers, I believe there's a torch. Yeah, and that torch is powering that little blob of redstone that powers that torch. So basically, the way it works is there's a line of redstone running right under these blocks behind these stairs. And when you first push the button, there's a pulse limiter, so you only get a very quick pulse, and that then comes up this half slab stairway sort of and powers this line briefly, and that causes all these top dispensers to fire. Only one should have an item in it. There's a dispenser actually under this too. This is just for up here for maintenance, but it basically clears out all the blocks and pushes them down to the bottom dispensers. And then if we go through here, which does basically do the same thing, you can see here's the pulse limiter, and there's a, well, it's hard to get in there now. Yeah, there's the line running underneath all the buttons into the pulse limiter, and then it goes up that half block stairway, and then all the button signals are then delayed, so that will fire off. I think that is on a, well, we got a tick here and a tick there, and I think that takes a tick, so it's like on 3 ticks. And here's the lower dispensers that are facing up, and they're on a 4-tick delay, so the item gets moved down, and then whichever one you clicked, that item there gets moved up 1 tick later. And then the comparators read it, and everything works great. So that's how that works, basically. Went through a whole bunch of different designs, trying out different ones. The way this button is situated, it also fires the clear, so it clears your whole output, but you know, you can just select that one, or select that one, and just because the comparators take a little bit to turn off is why they're both on for a slight bit. Actually, I think both the comparators and the redstone lights take an extra tick to clear. So, yeah, that's how that works. I have some other stations. Obviously, this is the most complicated one. Take a look right here. And that's not the way I wanted to go. Oh well. I'll pick that up in a bit. Oh, actually, yeah, we have a whole chest full here. So I want it to go south on the green line. Still need to pick a color for the south line. Yeah, so the south line is one that I put in myself. It has a big variety in the stations. So first we come to the simplest of the stations. This is just some power tracks in a little V shape with a button. You come in, you stop, you press the button if you want to keep on going, or you get off. If you want to change side, you know, if you want to go back, you just push the cart over to the other side. Come on. Now get in and push the button, you'll be heading back towards spawn. But I want to continue going. This is right over by my first flower farm. We got this nice valley farm that someone made with a windmill. It's pretty cool. Next, we're going... It's supposed to be a museum. I don't think it's completely done yet. The next stop is there. Or right in front of there. Slash there. It's made by Finchy Poo. And this is a kind of a 3-way station. I have an old video where I showed different minecart stations. And this is basically just a worse version of the 3-way station that I showed there. In that video, the 3-way station had was all nice and covered, and this one I didn't want to use all the kind of repeaters that were needed. So at the time I didn't have the smooth stone, so it's kind of not hidden under the ground real well, and it's just kind of covered with some wood. But basically, from each direction, you're presented with either two options, and so like Finchy Poo's is off that way, so that button is on that side, and from here it's the same. So this is, well, since there's no right, it's straight, and then from this way you got spawn, which is to your right, and south, which is to your left. Yeah, so it's basically just some detector rails and not very much complicated redstone. I think there's only one repeater in this whole thing. Maybe two. Yeah, I think there's two. The next station, though, I wanted to make the one up near the museum really cool, is I kind of, well, I watched Mumbo Jumbo's videos, and he had the hipster minecart station, although I looked at some of the replies that tried to show optimized versions, and I actually kind of did a variation on one of the optimized versions, and it seems to work pretty well. Had a little trouble with it, had to change some times and stuff, but not too bad. So we are going up the mountain. I like to go up sides of mountains instead of making totally new paths. I like to use the existing terrain as easy, as much as possible. Yeah, so here's the hipster minecart station. Notice you don't see any rails or anything like that. Got a go button here. You just get right back in and go. If there is no cart here, just put it in the chest over here. Cart, and then you can push this button over here to request a cart, and sends one out. And then you can just get back in, push the go button, and you're on your way. Basically, there's lots of complicated redstone and some timing stuff, so that you wind up being put on top of a piston that has a rail on it, but then the rail is pulled away, and then the piston goes up. Because if the rail was on the piston when the piston went up, the rail would pop off. Yeah, so it's kind of complicated. We're going to head further south here. I have one more type of station, but it's a little bit ways off. It's a four-way station, but it's a bit different from the four-way stations I showed off in that older video that I mentioned. Although we have one more, I guess, simple station to go past first. Actually, yeah, maybe two. Actually, no, it's just one. Okay, so you can see we got another player building an underwater base here. And someone else's place is that way. But here is the four-way station. It's not completely done. I mean, the station itself is done. The four paths aren't. But basically, you're brought to here. You're told where you can go, and so it's on 1A right now. Now it's on 1B. Now it's on 2B, and it's on 2A, and then you just press the button here to go. But before I do that, I'll show you how this works. Basically, this outer track here is the incoming track. So no matter where you come from, you're directed onto this outer track and kind of around the outside of the station and then up the hill and stopped here. Then you're presented with two levers, and this lever here controls this torch and that track, so that will turn it left and right. And then there's there's a switch track here powered by this torch, and a switch track here powered by that torch. And they're both controlled by this switch. So you see they're both back right now, and then now that one's forward, and so is this one. Basically the way this works is the lever's here, and that controls the light, and also this torch. This torch powers this little bit of redstone that powers this torch. And kind of similar thing over here, except this one's on the side, powers this torch, and then it kind of goes up and over here and down and powers that torch. And then finally there's this button here that, well, the button will turn off that torch, and that torch powers this redstone through this block, and then that currently has this torch off, and that keeps your minecart there until you press the button. So I'll set it back for spawn. So that's 2A. See, we'll be turning this way and then this way, and then we'll just come out this way, and basically all the incoming lines then work as the outgoing line that heads off that way. And there's actually another one of these stations about 500 blocks that way or so. But you just get in, push the button, and you're sent around. Because of the server lag a little bit, you kind of clip into the walls sometimes. But yeah, that's basically the designs of the stations I have so far. You only have one of the big switch stations at spawn right now. We got 2 of those 4-way stations. Got a bunch of the simple stations with just a button and 2 ways you can go. And I have one of these 3-way stations, although I may put in 1 or 2 more as needed. And obviously you only have one of the hipster stations so far, as the museum is the only fancy enough place really currently. And one of those would fit in well. So I think I'm gonna go now to my creative world and show you the kind of different designs I went through for the selectors. And I'll see you there in a minute. Well, here I am in my creative world. So it seems to be raining here for some reason, but see, here's all the different selector switch things that I've been playing around with and testing. And the ones with the little green blocks next to them actually do work, where the others not so much. So this right here is the design I used on the server. Actually, it's pretty nice. It actually ends right here, so it's really only 4 blocks wide and, well, 5 blocks tall if you count that bit of redstone and this bit of redstone as being in the next higher block. But basically works pretty well. See, if I push the button here, sets off the pulse limiter. It pulses this here, which moves any items in the top down, and then after a tiny delay, 4 ticks, it moves an item back up. And you see, as I said before, you can either get output up here with the torch being off, being the selected one, or you can do as I have here and have another set of comparators with either torches or redstone. This will only get power of 1 if you have it directly. So again, here the off torch is the selected one. Or you can, as I said, do redstone blobs. They'll only get 1 bit of power, but you use a repeater or something to extend that, and then the powered one is the selected one. And the reason I like this design is it really doesn't use that much materials. You really only need 1 repeater, 1 comparator, and 5 bits of redstone per button. Not counting the lamp, of course. You need 1 redstone for here, 1 redstone for there, 1 redstone for there, and then the final 2 are used to make the dispensers. So it's pretty efficient, I think. And it's pretty quiet. It's not noisy. Unlike, well, I showed off a long time ago. Like here was my old style potion brewer, and I had this selector here, but this one, there's basically pistons that move all around them. Some people don't like the noise of the pistons. Let's see if I can get in there. Here we go. Yeah, so there's a set of pistons that move up and down, and they're used as the memory. So here, this one uses just an item moving between some dispensers. The dispensers aren't nearly as loud, except I do have this one piston here. But there are ways to get rid of it. You can do a circuit like this, and then there's a dispenser and hopper that basically does the same effect. Just to briefly output a pulse when this gets powered. Now this one is another design that I saw on a YouTube page. It's kind of similar in concept in that it's using comparators, but basically there's dispensers or droppers. Probably dispensers are cheaper to make than droppers. I was just creative. So these are again using comparators. And you can see the torches here are the output. Don't have a second output in this design. But basically, this is using sticky pistons and firing them with 1 tick to extend and leave a block up, and then the comparator can detect the item through the block, and you can use that. In this case, it's both turning off the torch and then putting only 1 bit of power here, so only the 1 light turns on. But you do have, because there's basically, show over here, because this way you can see it. These pistons here are used as the pulse limiters, so that you only get 1 quick pulse here. So you basically have 2 pistons firing off. Makes a little bit of noise. This down here basically fires all of these to get all the blocks retracted, and then the delay and the delay then lets the pulse limiter put 1 back up. But it does work. Need a little bit more materials, and it's a little noisier. This is actually, I believe this is designed by Zuma Void. And it kind of works off of a butt effect. It does work. And again, you can get the output right here from the front. You can't get an output from the back again. But it uses, again, more resources. It is slightly smaller, not as tall, but tallness isn't really an issue with what I was doing. And I wanted the output in the back, so that's why I didn't go with that one. This was just something I was playing with to see if I could get the button and the light to be at the same spot. And it does work. The only weird thing is, obviously when you push the button, it also powers the two lights next to it. And it's a bit deeper because of all that. But basically, it's kind of the same effect here. The other thing I did was I didn't have a edge detector or pulse limiter, so it makes it quieter. I had to extend the signal out of here though, and I found the only way to really do that was use another set of comparators. That way, because if I use a repeater, that would just go to full power and you'd power all of them. But using another comparator, this comparator powers this block, which powers the redstone, but it's only powered at level 1, and then this comparator just copies that one to the front of it. But it does work. Don't remember exactly what I was trying to do with this design. I think I was trying to get rid of the edge detector, but as you can see, it doesn't really work. Works crazily. I did, though, come up with this design after I built the one on the server. And this design, as you can see, it's pretty narrow. It's not very resource intensive. And it basically uses hoppers and droppers. Well, dispensers. No, it's droppers, actually. But basically, these hoppers are always powered. Which one is the... Alright, the second one. So the hoppers always have an item. It kind of works backwards. Didn't really want it. I'm sure there's some way to work it out. But basically, I was hoping that powering the hoppers and then I'd fire the dispenser would push the item into the hopper, and then because the hopper was powered, the item would not go out, and so it would work the same as this. But it turns out when I power these hoppers, it causes all the dispensers below to fire through, I guess, quasi-connectivity, or either these hoppers become power themselves, which cause the dispensers to fire. But somehow, for the one you click, the item comes back down. I'm not sure how that works. I'm thinking it may be some sort of bud issue. Well, not really issue, but because the block down here is updating, something happens. As I said, I'm not entirely sure how all this redstone works. This here is just a silent edge detector. Again, when you push this, it powers here, that moves up briefly and then comes back down 4 ticks later. But while it's up here, the line up here becomes unpowered. So I'm guessing as the items move down, the one where you clicked has already just moved because of the delay here. Anyway, the light is backwards, But other than that, it works. It's very narrow. And again, you can get the output from the top here, or as before, you can put another set of comparators on the back and get your output there if you need output in the back. So that's very convenient. The other thing that's convenient is with this one, the torch that's on is the one that was selected instead of the one that's off. So yeah, that's a bunch of different selector designs that I played around with. All these are basically, just repeating the same pattern, except for obviously this one, but it's just, hey, we don't want these to interact, so you just alternate. I mean, this being 3 deep, it's just a repeater set to 4, comparators and hoppers and droppers, and all of the hoppers have 1 item, or droppers, in all these designs. So basically all pretty similar. Well, they operate differently, but basically the similar principle. It's just a repeating pattern for each row, and then you just have something on the side to runs a reset. Obviously this one has the reset. This is the reset here. About this is the only one that doesn't have a reset. It acts as its own reset through these. Kind of the spooky action at a distance bud effect. But all the rest of these, have a reset. This one's kind of nice in that the reset can be right against. And it's just because it's below the pistons here, it doesn't affect it. Whereas all the others kind of need to be 1 away so that they don't affect these hoppers. And you see this is also 1 away. Although this one may be able to get away with being right next to it, but I didn't want to risk it. This one, again, it's 1 away, so it doesn't affect these hoppers. So, thanks for watching. It's my selector designs. That was my rail station designs. Here's the test of that 4-way rail station. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.